That leads into another story I want to tell about these rocks, is that when they were dragged down, they were subjected to unbelievable, unfathomable is the word I use in my handout, pressure and heat. And not only were they subjected to the heat and pressure, but they were being crammed into a space that they didn't really fit into. So the rocks not only got heated and squeezed, but they got squished. And there were like 3 different kinds of rocks, and they all got squished together, and they slid past each other along faults and formed what we call, this is another word on the quiz, melange. In that all these rocks consist of a melange of several metamorphic volcanic rocks all mixed together. And sometimes it's hard to tell where one stops and the other one starts, as in that piece of rock I just of the things that are here. Most of this is covered with lichen, and it's almost impossible to determine what it is at first glance. But there's a few exposed surfaces here. Most of this is metamorphic gneiss and schist. But woven in veins in between it, there's some Boulder Creek granodiorite, which was squeezed up through cracks. The metamorphic rock is actually older than the granodiorite. The granodiorite is about 1.4 billion years old, and the metamorphic rocks are about 1.7, so the granodiorite's a whole 300 million years younger. and I believe that's what this vein here is. It looks like granodiorite to me. Are growing on it. The fact that these older boulders are covered with lichen like this indicates that they are quite old, and they are probably, or most probably, they are debris that was washed out 14,000 years ago when the morainal dam that was holding back the water of Glacial Lake Devlin finally collapsed and sent all this water crashing down the canyon, carrying rocks like this more than a mile. Here in Colorado around 1858, there's a story I like to tell about a group of men from Georgia who were heading out west, heading towards the gold fields of California in 1857. And they were bringing with them a herd of a couple hundred horses. They were taking those horses from Georgia to California because horses were in such demand for the mining camps and the miners and the prospectors that they could make money by driving a herd of horses from Georgia to California and selling them. So when they got to this part of the country, fall was settling in, and they were near the confluence of Cherry Creek and the South Platte River, which is now where Denver is. And they were following an old Indian trail, and they decided, well, we'll never make it over these mountains in the winter. We better bed down and stay here till spring. And but you know, we brought all this gold panning stuff for when we get to California, and we've got these creeks right here, these streams right here. Why don't we do a little panning here and see if we can find something? And at the confluence of Cherry Creek and South Platte River, they found small amounts of gold.